Alina, this book is something else. She's saying, she's saying that the things that, that stand out to you, the things that you want to repeat and all of these things into your life. Listen, everything
stands out.
So I break it down into portions that I can manage.
This really was transformative.
Good evening and welcome to Book Club Conversations Series 6. And I like to say achievers welcome. Hi and good evening. Because Launchpad Consultancy, collaborating with VisionWorks Solutions, is bringing to you this series of conversations where we give focus to the writings of Mike Murdock in his book, The Uncommon Achiever. This conversation is all about creating a platform for professionals and entrepreneurs to be able to talk about the principles that we should be considering on our journey to fulfilling that next thing, that next project. We're getting ready to come out of so many restrictions associated with COVID. And here we are saying we want to pivot. We want to take what we do to the next level. We want to take hold of it and say, yes, we will make it happen. And that's what these conversations are all about. My name is Alina Lewis, your host, as always, every evening during the series. I'm an author, a business coach, an education consultant. So you can imagine how thrilled I am to have to be able to sit here and talk with all of these different people. And joining in this evening, they are no stranger to Book Club Conversation. We have Sherlyn Mitchell. I think I mispronounced that just a smidgen and a Sherlyn, but forgive me. But we have Sherlyn in studio with us. She is the founder of Tema International and Just Towels International. And we also have joining in Kevin Sandy, who is the owner of Sits Mobile, the technologist. Kevin Sandy is the man that we talk to when we want to find out how to make work easy in every area. So guys, let me welcome you. Hi, good evening, and welcome to this evening's program.
Thank you very much, Alina. I'm happy to be here. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Oh, yes, because, today's chapter from Mike Murdock touches on a very interesting topic. Mike Murdock is encouraging us here in chapter 21. And as I say 21, can you imagine? We are 21 days in. We have been going live daily for 21 days talking about this book. And so here we are at chapter 21 on day 21. And Mike Murdock is encouraging us to remember that we should refuse to be discouraged. And refuse is such a strong word, but we should refuse to be discouraged when others misjudge our motives. Wow. So as I always like to start off, my big question is, what was your takeaway, your major takeaway, the big hoopla for you as you read chapter 21? Sherlyn, let me volunteer you now.
Thank you. I've moved to the front of the class. And sometimes when you're to the front of the class, you could get misjudged all the time, right? But what I'm encouraged by, and I'm glad I can use the word encourage, Alina and Sandy, was how Mike Murdock started off the chapter by saying, everyone has been misjudged. And I was encouraged by that, to know that I'm not alone. And then the next thing was, further down in the chapter, it said Jesus was also misjudged. And just before we became live, I heard this old song, I have got friends in high places. I don't know if you all know that song. Just so, I can't remember the last time I heard it. I can't remember the last time I sing it, but I heard I have got friends in high places. And that came just after I was thinking on what stood out for me. And the fact to know that Jesus Jesus himself, the man himself, 100% man and yet 100% God, was misjudged. So surely,
Yeah.
I mean, straighten your shoulder, toughen up, and you know, just tell yourself, look, he was able to conquer it, so you will be able to conquer it. So that's my takeaway from this chapter. I'm encouraged to know that I'm not alone, especially as an uncommon achiever as well, that I'll be.
Definitely.
So I'm not alone. And I have
Thank you,
friends with me
Shirley.
tonight. I have friends with me tonight. And in high
Yes,
places.
definitely. Kevin, talk to me. What was your big takeaway from chapter 21 as we talk about refusing to being discouraged?
It made me very introspective. I had to sit and think, and one of the things I have to ask myself, who can I remember misjudged my motives at any time? I wonder. And I had to remember I remember clearly there are two persons who actually misjudged my motives. Two ladies actually who were co-workers. And they misjudged my motives because I would give solutions to the office to make things simpler, make things more efficient. But in doing that, sometimes you rub against people who have planned some destructive plans or created some destructive plans. And if you're trying to make things more effective or more efficient, it actually could change or rub against people's plans, which were not very good for the public or for the office. So it's like trying to create a system that helps to treat the client at the bank better that the bank supervisor really wants the client to be treated, so to speak. So even though my motive might have been good for the whole individuals, because of their plans, you could actually be destroying their plans. And one of the things I like how she really said it, everybody, you can't please everybody. You will be misunderstood by some people. So as much as the office might have me in high esteem, even if one or two people misunderstood me, my approach was to listen, because it could be a critical, it could be what is called a constructive criticism. I could be wrong, you know. That's because 10 or 8 out of 10 persons agree with me means that I'm right. So you have to listen and take it and okay. And then at the end of the day, you make a decision. I think though, the biggest accuser of my motive is me. I think I'm the biggest accuser of my motive. In other words, when I set out to do something, I sit down and ask myself in the middle of the night, why are you doing this? Is this for you personal gain, or will this benefit the people who you're doing it for? So it's not so much, so there might be other people who have misunderstood me that I didn't hear clearly. But I always hear when I question myself as to this plan or this strategy that you're unfolding or enrolling. Who is it for? What is the reason behind it? What do you hope to achieve by this? Is it help? Is this going to help anyone? And the reason for this is because of going through my personal development training when I was being mentored by Dr. Miles and by his team. One of the questions we had when we had to deal with principle was, who is going to benefit from this vision? Not so much you, but who else is going to benefit from this vision that you have? As a matter of fact, they had a distinct between vision and ambition. And they were saying ambition first and foremost, and even at a great distance, benefit just you. A vision benefit people. So in your planning and in your executing, it's very easy to get caught up in what you want, what you would like to see out of it, instead of what will the other people, is there anybody else who's benefiting from this? Is there a pain or something that you've been receiving? And if the motive, because as Mike is saying, looking at if people accuse you because of your motive, not just your actions now, the reason why you're doing it. So I went beyond, you're going beyond just the action to find out why are you really doing this. As a matter of fact, so my takeaway is, of course, the response. My response to people who I knew misunderstood my motive in the past is rest, listen, and accept their accusation, but move on. Once you have assessed it, that okay, what they're saying is good information, yes, but is it right? Is it true? No, you assess it. You could assess it. You could also have other people assessing it. But at the end of the day, the decision must be: will it really help for the greater good? Will it help the people? Because it could help the people, yes, but this one or two persons might be hurt. You cannot please everybody. So you have to make a decision. It's very ticklish there where that is concerned, because they're accusing your motives, even though they're not seeing it.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mr. Sandy. And, even I want to highlight Mike Murdock in his writings in chapter 21. He made a comment and he said, everyone has been misjudged.
Yeah.
And he also says you will always have an adversary. And when I read it, I said, wow, what a point for us to really break down in the discussion. Because when we think about it, that could be so discouraging. Everyone has an adversary. It's like we getting up every day, week after week, month after month, thinking I will always have an adversary. And I want to ask you guys, how do you stay motivated knowing that you will always have some sort of an adversary as you go through personal, professional, or otherwise? You will always have an adversary. How do you stay motivated? Mr. Sandy, let me volunteer you now.
I don't necessarily remember. I don't remember that I would have an adversary. As a matter of fact, as I said, I had to think of who had misjudged me, because I don't remember it. It's not something that stays with me. What stays with me is who have I helped? So even though there would be people who, yes, through your life would have been adversaries, and you will have more in the past, in the future, I don't remember it. I don't even remember it. Even in my envisioning my future, I don't remember the adversaries that are gonna come. As a matter of fact, one of the big things that I focus on is that I don't even stay motivated, because the inspiration that is in me is like what one prophet said, is like fire shut up in your bones. That even on the bad days, or what I call the bad hair days, I sit quietly and say, hey, you need to do this, you need to get that done. You need to get that here, right? So I don't stay motivated. The vision is so powerful, so compelling, so magnetic, that I don't need a motivation. It is not necessary. But the days when you feel tired and you feel overwhelmed, it just, when I sit quietly, I remember one of the interviews I had with you, and you asked me one of the things that were very important to me, a habit, and habit I have is meditation. I often sit quietly and listen to what was said, what God told me, and what I repeated to myself. So any day that I feel that way, I sit quietly and I listen to it again in my head. Not listen to it in just audio, but I go over it in my head. But so the person might come as an accusation, my first response is give them the benefit of the doubt. I could be wrong. So I listen. And I don't remember it after it goes over and we deal with it. I don't remember it. That's the challenge with me. I don't remember who accused me or who did so on. I don't remember it. I have to sit and think about it for a while. To wait a minute, this person, yes, this person did so on. Because it's not there normally.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that. Shirley, what about you? How do you keep yourself motivated as you think about having to deal with challenges and adversaries throughout the journey?
Well, I am sitting down here and I'm in the classroom and I'm saying, well, Sheila, you have been a bad girl. You have been a naughty girl. Because I'm saying to myself, at every stage in my life, I could recall in primary school, I had a teacher, and this teacher scolded me so badly. She's deceased now, and it's amazing. My husband and her were great friends when I met my husband. And it's only when somebody else was saying the same thing, because she would beat so badly. And she beat me so badly. And why did she beat me? Because I was playing outside and I came into the classroom sweaty back. So I saw that as an adversary, because, I mean, this is my time in my life when I'm supposed to be having fun. And I don't know, something about my nature. I think I've been created with that kind of personality to have fun, especially dealing with hard situations in your life, meaning that my father wasn't really around. My mother raised 7 children on her own. So that fun for me is a very important factor. Nevertheless, so that was my earliest adversary, I would say, and I could recall, even as the Spirit of the Lord brought it back to me. But throughout stages in my life, I would say that I've had those persons. And interestingly, God always uses situations for you to really view these things and know them for what they are. And so even as you ask the question this evening, Alina, what comes to mind is that really and truly these adversaries are really stepping stones or really bridges to build a gap for where is your next stage. Because at each one of these stages where I faced a particular thing, it had to do with leaders. So it told me where I was going. It had to do with family, close to you, but don't always understand the vision. But what do you do when they don't understand? You give up on the dream? No. So all I can say tonight is taking that word adversary and turning it around into a positive tone, so that if in the end you can turn around, and God has done that so beautifully in my life. Before 2020 closed, I was able to call one of those persons that I saw very dear, very close to me, and say, I recognize that I did not really forgive you, even though they were the one that offended, but I held it in my heart, and God allowed for me to be able to bring that closure in a peaceful way, so that I can have conversations so freely, and like Sandy said, forget, but just recalling it for this particular purpose. So today, truly, what can I say? Can I say like my father Jesus said, I thank God for Judas. I thank God for those that have said and have caused you to rethink or even make some really good adjustments. There was one particular, let me just quickly say that as well, where, as you begin on this journey in this vision, and when you know starting and others who have gone before, you have passed that place, when you begin, they tell themselves sometimes you're trying to make a name for yourself. So that was another aspect again that I had to see as an adversary. But at the end of it, I knew what God placed in my heart to do. And I just, somehow, I just couldn't. Even if I wanted to, I would always end up back at this place where I cannot let it go. Somehow this grace comes, this strength comes, this vaccine comes. The vaccine is talking, this vaccine comes to forward. And so I really have to say thank you for us being able to observe our adversaries and really taking that negative and making it into something that we can step over, cross over, and accomplish and purpose. Today I'm further ahead because of it. So thank you for that question. It will be marked on my heart.
I love it. And even as you all were chatting, y'all give some loaded responses there. So I want to kind of go and dig in to pull something out. And what I want to pull out of you now is, if you were in 2 or 3 points, say these are the 2 or 3 things I would encourage people to think about and remember so that they could stay on track, remember so that they could even position themselves to avoid misunderstandings. What would be those things that you would recommend people remember, do, adapt, as the case might be, so that they could avoid misunderstandings and stay true to the vision? Shirley, you're at the top of my screen, so I'm going to volunteer you.
I was thinking about it as you were asking it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about knowing oneself is so important. When you know yourself, who you are, it causes you to develop a particular association. One that will encourage, that will stimulate, that will harness that which is on the inside of you, and that you are comfortable within that mastermind group to share and hear from others as well, and really be able to glean and build on it. So knowing oneself is I think is really, really important. Just ask me back the question again. I want to
I was
answer.
asking, what are 2 or 3 points you want to mention as important for people to remember so they could avoid misunderstanding and stay true to the vision?
Right. And be yourself. So be yourself. Know who you are and be yourself.
Yeah.
Because every time I have to think about, oh gosh, Shirley, oh boy, you bound to get on so, girl. Everybody else come. Who's this hype about?
As you.
But that's me. And so I need to understand that, but also have that appreciation to that. Being so and so vibrant can scare people. So I want to be able to have that in mind as well. So that is so much point here too. Know yourself. Be yourself.
Know yourself.
Know yourself, but be yourself. Because sometimes we try to, please others and use us. And then the next thing you all will know about me, or if you all have ever heard, or if you all have not read it as yet, it is written. When you are around Shirley, you can't help but be truthful, because I'm never in confusion or creating strife. So that when you hear it, I don't have time for nonsense. So I'm plain, I'm for real. So I say it as it is, but again, I've learned, even though you have to express the truth, everybody is not on the same level or in the same place or have gone through the same journey that you have gone through to receive it in the way that you are communicating it. So know effectively how to express that which is a conviction for you, So that you have to be very, very conscious of that. So for me, know yourself, be yourself, and be able to express or communicate effectively in the right space and with the people that are ready to receive, or also be sensitive to those that are hearing.
I love it. Thank you, Shirley. And Kevin, what can you share with us in the same regard?
Wow, Shirley, I like your spirit.
I like my spirit too, yes.
Like a passionate spirit. Wonderful. Wow, that is so true. I mean, it's just awesome. I mean, you're really making me think. I have a feeling that after this call, I will remember some people who have accused me because I have to think about it. My motive, right? Well, what I can think about one of the things I look at or I tell people, even in the idea of trying to avoid misunderstanding. Here was happening. One of the things I try to help people to understand is be a learner, be a life learner. Be ready to learn from people. You can learn from the vagrant on the street. You can learn from the person who you might consider dull or not educated. Be available to learn. Get to the place where you want to learn something. You're willing to learn from anybody. Even the person who want to accuse you and might be wrong. Listen to learn. It could be hard for someone who's on edge and who's thin-skinned. It might be challenging. But that's something that helps to avoid some misunderstanding. But a life learner, be willing to learn And in the process of learning, added to that is understanding here what's happening. Because you are learning, you will do some things that would cause people to misunderstand you, because you will mess up. Get to the fact that you'll mess up. One of my coaches told somebody who was saying he wanted to be an orderly person. He found he doing things all about the place. He was getting a lot of real estate deals, but he found he was messy and all kind of stuff. And the coach told him, he said, Bob, I'm not can't remember the name exactly. He said, Bob, I have bad news for you. You'll be messy for the rest of your life. So, and as Curtis said, just be who you are. That's who you are, but you are good at something else. You might not be good at that, being orderly or whatever it is, but you are good at something and say, focus on that. So I would really say that whole issue of wanting be a person who's willing to learn from anybody, accept the fact that you will mess up and you will be misunderstood, regardless of how hard you try. You will question, but because you're willing to learn, it means you're open to criticism. You're open to somebody to correct you. You're open to correction. A lot of people call me Mr. Sandy instead of calling my first name, which I prefer people call me by my first name. But I'm tired of telling people, oh, just call me Kevin. But they don't. So I realize I feel as if by calling me Mr. Sandy, people feel as if you're up there and they don't want to approach you, and and I'm telling people, hey, so I try to align with people and relax with them where they are to get to understand, hey, I make mistakes too. I mess up too. So I would share with somebody a mess that I did, or I mess up somewhere. So the idea is get to the place where you're willing to learn and get to the place where you understand, hey, I will mess up, so I have to, and I will be misunderstood because of my mess, but just be accepted, so that when the person comes with something that you might have done wrong, or you might be doing something good, but they misunderstand your motive. The idea is, because you're willing to learn, you will listen. You will try to figure out, okay, is this person saying what really happened? It could be just their point of view, but the idea is that you could just listen, and sometimes you just have to say, okay, right? But those two things, as well as what Curlin said in terms of knowing who you are, and just accept that this is me. And I like how she said it. This is who I am. And people don't like her to be like that, but this is who she is. And that is something that to be cherished. This is who you are. And get to that place where you really know you. And your personality, that is how you come across. Yes, as you're learning, you could know that as you're being yourself, and as she really said, you want to be able to learn not to mash some corns or not to go a certain distance to do certain things, based on the environment you're in. But the idea is that doesn't change you to be you. It doesn't affect you to be you. Just that you might respond to the person because they might not be able to handle the passion like she has, or whatever it is. But the important thing is that because you're willing to learn, it makes it so much easier. Yes. To move on from there, right? I really just want to thank you for this. It's just awesome.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing.
Alina,
yes, Shirley.
I wanted to add something again because I'm gleaning off of what Sandy is saying. And one of the things I realized that is a great help to in maintaining one's focus is really spending time with God. And he said it earlier too, that meditation, spending that time with God and hearing from God. One word from God can really, really cause you to fly high. So I think that's so important. And then this other thing just jumped into my head as well. Stick with the assignment, no matter what. Stay on course. You have been given an assignment. You will have detractors. You'll have the judges, you'll have the accusers, but try as you may to stay on course, stick with the assignment, remind us, and that will only, I think, really be accomplished as you stay with God. So we really can't leave God out of this thing at all.
Alina, I want to respond to that. I had to do that twice last year. Jillian, I was confronted. I almost gave up on the vision. Almost said no. because I was asked by good friends, what am I doing? As a matter of fact, I was carried out and then questioned, what am I doing? Because the guidance I got was I needed to leave my job to pursue God's purpose. It's the second time God is telling me to go. He told me in 2015, and because I didn't see how things was running and with the family, I didn't go. Last year again, the Lord said, I need you to leave. And I told everybody, okay, I'm going. I put in a year as a year no pay leave. In the design company, year no pay leave. And I was questioned by good meaning friends. So it was not accusation as such, but it was like, what is this foolishness you're doing? What so and so and so? I mean, real questions. And what wasn't asked, what was not asked is the main question, which, what did God say? What is the vision? They didn't ask that question. So you see how you point that out there? That is the question. None of them asked that question. What is the vision you got from God? That was supposed to be the main question that was supposed to be able to say, okay, once you know that is God's vision, then we will with you. Nobody asks that. They ask about the practical things, about what is happening here and there and so forth. As a matter of fact, one person, I have two friends who are accusing me of actually supporting someone, I just remember that, of unethical business practices. I have two friends who are accusing me. But what I did, as I said, I'm willing to listen. So I asked to be an arbitrator. I say, okay, can I, since you are accusing the person of being unethical, can I be an arbitrator to sit with both of you and see what the issue is? Because the person needs to face the accuser. And the two persons weren't willing to do it. As a matter of fact, we went to a second mentor who all of us respect. And he contacted them and asked the same thing. And they didn't respond. They weren't willing to. So I realized, okay, I'm willing to learn, yes, willing to accept. But if the person is not willing to go the distance to help resolve, I realize, okay, we have to move on. So presently in my life, I have two friends who are actually accusing me for supporting this person who is willing to face the accuser. Willing, they said their part, and they're willing to face to find out what did I do wrong. And the persons are not willing, but because I am supporting the person, because the person is willing to face up to any problem, if there is anything legal or illegal or unethical, because I'm supporting them, I have been sidelined. And I have just moved on. And watch now. You don't know how powerful that is you just said there. I don't know if you know that idea of keeping on the vision. Let me tell you something. That had to be my mantra from last year to now, to keep going, because I know the temptation to turn back is like 99%. But I thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
You know, Mike Murdock, at the end of the chapter, he said, your success is on the other side of scorn and false accusations. And he closed off by saying false accusations is the last stage before supernatural promotion.
Wow.
So as we marinate on that, I want to ask you all, any order, open floor, what are your closing thoughts as you think about all that we've been chatting about, staying motivated past misunderstandings, past the accusations, staying true to the call and the vision, knowing that Mike Murdock is reminding us that success is on the other side of scorn and false accusations, and that know that the false accusation is the last stage before supernatural promotions. Open floor for your closing thoughts, guys.
I tell you, since last night I said it to you, I was telling a girlfriend, I said, girl, I could take a drink right about now. But they know when I say take a drink what I mean. So please do not take me out of context.
Yeah.
But it was like to say, what a reminder. This is something to throw a party for. This is something to jump up and scream, to rejoice, to shabak, to behave foolish, like David. Just behave foolish, to know that, look, this is the report. This is the preview. Now, you haven't seen it as yet, but I'm giving you a preview.
Yes.
Hello, Shirley. Hello, Shirley. Just on the other side of what you have been going through. Hello, Alina. You told me the other day. Oh, my gosh. Shirley. What is about to come? So I'm encouraged. I'm so glad to be on the platform this evening, talking and being motivated. So I'm celebrating. I'm having my drink of water right now. And I'm celebrating that, to know that, look, this thing is beyond financial gain. It's literally knowing that you are on course with God. You are. Everything is on schedule. And you're about to burst forth into all that has been prepared for you. Wow. Joseph could have invited his entire family. Come on, eat. Don't worry about what you've been through. Don't worry about what you did to me. Can we not say that to our accusers when that time comes? Wow. So I'm just ready for that party. So that's my closing remarks. I'm ready for the party.
Wow. As I was telling, this statement, I was telling Alina on another call. I said, Alina, last year alone, I had more business opportunities come into my lap than the last 10 years. multi-million-dollar business opportunities come in my door and looking. And it's like, where? And I'm like, where were these things all the time? And I'm hearing things complain about the news. I'm hearing people losing their jobs. I'm hearing this going. People are afraid because I'm leaving my job. And let me tell you something. So when he said is the last stage of supernatural promotion, there are nights, literally, that I don't sleep well. When I say don't sleep well, I don't sleep through the night because the excitement is so much. It's like the nights when I'm waiting because I have to catch the flight in the morning to go. When I used to go, I have to go to some business meeting in whether it's Las Vegas or Texas or something. The night before, I never used to sleep much. My life, I have months of that going on, where sometimes during the day I have to take a 2-hour sleep. Take a 2 hours, just take a nap. Because the excitement of seeing what is coming is so big that I am sitting down. I don't know if you know, one of the pet peeves that I have, I sit down and crunch numbers. Budgeting, putting down the figures, where the money is going to go, where it's going to go, who's going to help, I'm going to help with that, what cause I'm going to help with this, which account is going to go in, how I was going to move it left, right. I could sit down and do that for hours without sleeping or eating. I would sit down with a budget system and just do that. And God has given me ideas. Okay, I need to create something for this person. I need to do something for the community here. I need a certain amount to do this for this particular group. That's the kind I sit down and I do things like that. And that for me is fun. As a matter of fact, you talk about fun. Life is fun. Actually, for me, life is fun. So there's a statement that I make, a quote that I developed. One of the quote is, life becomes fun when you're living your dreams. Work becomes fun when you're working your gift. So really and truly, regardless of what is coming against you, including accusers, and as Kaylin really said it really is a stepping stone. It's part of the process. So I will say that the promotion is beyond what you could imagine, and I just thank God for it. So I celebrate with you. I celebrate with you. I am planning the barbecues and the different things in my head. I completely agree with you. Yes, I'm seeing it. I feel it. Just need to be there. I'm seeing it. The promotion.
So guys, I appreciate you all so much for joining me for yet another conversation. We are moved, achievers in viewing live. We know you're moved as we all are encouraged to know that adversary and those experiences is not a reason to give up, to step aside, but it's knowing, and I'm going to say it again because I think it's such a great wrap up, that your success is on the other side of scorn and false accusations. And know that false accusation then is the last stage before that promotion you're excited and looking forward and counting down. Hey, day 21, day 22 coming tomorrow. All you keep reading, keep contributing, keep sharing in the comment section. We are the achievers. And until next day, have a good night and thank you for joining in. Take care, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.